celebrating 12 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Jimmy Hyams.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill. And of course, these are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And I love it when we have friends. Well, all my friends come by the show. And here's one today. This is Jimmy Hyams. He's sports director at our radio stations here, Cumulus Knoxville, the sports animal, and a friend for many, many years. Welcome to Anything is Possible.
Anything's possible if you can have me on the show, Alan.
Well,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have to say this, Jimmy Hyams, I sized you up, and I thought when we were at Game On Against Cancer, we were going to play ping pong. I said, I'm going to tear this man out of the frame. And I did not. I underestimated you. You got on the ping pong table, and you handed it to me. And it made me think something. You have this very kind of calm, quiet demeanor. You must have been the kind of kid that they never saw coming all the time.
There's probably some truth to that.
Am I onto something with that?
I was taught humility. I have been served humility enough times to know that you need to eat some humble pie every now and then. So I just go do my thing. I don't talk about what I can and can't do. There's a lot more things I can't do than I can do.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Louisiana, a little town called Natchitoches, Louisiana.
What was the population?
16,000. It's a college town. The college had about 9,000, and the rest of the town had the other, so it was 16,000.
What was it like growing up there?
I loved it. It's a small town. It has a river that runs right through it. It's a beautiful town. It's known as the City of Lights. It's the oldest city in the Louisiana Purchase. 1714 is when it came about, and it's got a lot of history there. A lot of great folks that are there, and it was a great place to grow up, a great place if you were to live there to raise a family. Brothers and sisters? A bunch of them. 9 of us in all. 9? 9 of us in all. And 8 of us grew up. My mother lost her oldest child when he was only 4.
Name them.
You want me to name them?
Yeah.
There was Gainey Boy, Buddy, Bill, Gail, Bobby, Donnie, Mary, me, Jimmy, and Amy.
All right, and so that would technically make you the youngest?
I'm the next youngest. I have a younger sister, Amy.
All right, and so what is the advantage of being in that position in the birth order?
There is none.
There is none?
No, there is no advantage. And the other part of it is I was born 2 days after Christmas. That was a double whammy.
Right, so they just doubled up the, here's your gift for your birthday and for Christmas. Yeah. Tell me about your parents.
Well, my father was a high school football coach and a principal, and he was a very good college athlete, but he was killed in a car wreck when I was 1. And my mother was left to raise 8 kids on a school teacher's salary. You talk about a challenge, but she was up to it. And I always appreciated her strength in being able to deal with us. At that time, I was 1. My mother was pregnant. My oldest brother was 17 when that occurred.
My gosh.
And so one reason I'm so fond of Natchitoches is that everybody pitched in to help us, because at that point, we didn't have a lot. And so I didn't miss much. I went to NFL games. I went to college football and basketball games.
Who took you?
Parents of my friends. So I didn't have a dad, but I had 10 dads, because my friends' dads took that role. So they wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I always appreciated that. I saw Pete Maravich play. I saw the Cowboys play. I saw LSU play. I saw the Globetrotters. I saw a lot of things because the parents of my friends were so generous to make sure that I wouldn't miss out on things. Was there a particular man that was like the alpha dad of your pack of dads? Well, that one's hard. Probably, there probably was one that was more involved. His name was Frankie Ray Aaron, and my best friend growing up was Stan Aaron. And we used to hang out a lot, and so he was sort of the ringleader, but there were a bunch of them. And I really appreciated them. Looking back on it, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew they were letting me do some things that so I wouldn't be left out, but I really appreciated them reaching out to a kid whose dad had passed away when he was 1. When did you find your love for writing? Early. The first article I wrote for the newspaper, I was 11 years old. I was in the 7th grade. And a guy that I knew through my older sister He was a sports editor of the Natchitoches Times, where I grew up. And there was an event that I had attended, and he said, "Can you write an article about it?" I said, "Probably not, but I'll try." And I wrote one, and I saw that byline in the newspaper. I thought, that's cool. So when I was 13, I started writing pretty much on a full-time basis, and when I was 16, I was a sports editor of the newspaper.
Wow. This is Jimmy Hyams. You're watching Anything is Possible. We'll be right back.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
And he said, "You've been writing for us for a few years. We just lost our sports editor. Would you be willing to do it?" And I said, "You must be crazy. Why would you want to hire me?" He said, "I think you have potential to do this." So at 16, I started as a sports editor of the Natchitoches Times.
Familiar voice, familiar pen, wicked ping pong paddle. This is my friend Jimmy Hyams. He's our guest this week on Anything is Possible. At 13, you were the editor of the school newspaper?
16.
16.
I was the editor of the Natchitoches Times, the local newspaper. It was a bi-weekly. But I started writing full-time when I was 13.
Whoa, let me back up. I'm thinking this is a high school. I just missed something there. Yeah. You said you were the editor of the local newspaper.
Yeah.
The local newspaper.
I don't know what they were thinking hiring me.
At 16?
What was this guy? His name was Logan Thomas. He calls me into his office, and he said, "You've been writing for us for a few years. We just lost our sports editor. Would you be willing to do it?" And I said, "You must be crazy. Why would you want to hire me?" He said, "I think you have potential to do this." So at 16, I started as a sports editor of the Natchitoches Times. One funny thing about that was he asked me to be creative about layouts and headlines and all this different stuff and putting it together. I said, "All right, I'll be creative." So after my first creative attempt, he came back and he said, "You don't need to be creative anymore."
Just write.
Yeah, just write and stick to the script.
Who are your writing heroes? Was there anybody that you patterned yourself at? You read their stuff and you thought, that's good writing.
Jim Murray. Jim Murray was a longtime national columnist with the LA Times. And I read his stuff and I thought, that's the way I want to learn to write. And then there was a guy in Natchitoches, his name was Rick Woodson. And he was a sports information director at Northwestern State. And he was a very good writer. And so what I would do is I would write my articles and I would send them to Rick, and then Rick would edit them. And even at that age, I still adhered to a number of the principles that he taught me or showed me about writing.
Which are?
Well, don't say very, very good. It's good. You don't need to have all these adjectives explaining things. Make it simple. Make it readable. It's an 8th grade level that you're writing for. Don't try to reach the person that's the educated doctor. You're trying to reach more people. And those were a couple of things that he taught me. But one of them was about the adjectives that you use, and just make it clear and simple, and make sure that when you write it, that people can understand what you're writing. And you can be creative in what you're doing, but don't be so creative that the people that read your article miss the point.
Writers organize thought. Right? One of the things I love about writing is that writing clarifies thought. In order to be a good writer, you've got to learn to think clearly. It forces that. It forces structure, all of those things. The writer, Jimmy Hyams, if he were to write the story of Jimmy Hyams' life thus far, what would he write as the headline, and what is the outline?
Gosh, the page wouldn't be filled. There's not enough to say about me. There's just nothing.
Well, that's your assignment, though, right now.
I don't know. It would be hard to say. One of the things I've tried to impart upon my kids would be the thing that probably would be, whatever I did, I wanted to be the best that I could be at it. It didn't mean that I was going to win at everything or be the best, because there are other people that are more talented. But if I wanted to play basketball, I wanted to be the best basketball player I could be, the best baseball player. I wanted to be the best golfer that I could be. And I would work at these things. When I got into the workforce, I wanted to be the best writer I could be. I wanted to be the best sports editor I could be. And to me, if you play a game, you try to win it. If you work at a job, you try to be the best you can be at it. So that would probably be where I would go.
Where does that drive come from?
I don't know. Probably from my family.
Was your mother like that? No,
she wasn't that. She was more compassionate. She wasn't like that. I think probably my older brothers were like that to a certain degree. But I'm probably, not probably, I think I'm the most competitive person in my family.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it comes from being the 8th out of 9, and you're always fighting at the food table to see if you can get something to eat before it's all gone. But no, I think that's probably true. But just whatever I did, I wanted to be the best that I could be at it. Whether it was in the classroom, I wanted to be the best student I could be.
Talk to me a little bit more about your mom. Is she still alive?
No. She passed away in 2007. Unbelievable person. As I mentioned to you, she raised 8 of us on a school teacher salary, and it was tough, and it's going to be tough. And I realized at an early age the hardships that she faced, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to be a problem to her. I want to be a good son to her. If she has a problem with one of my brothers or sisters, she can deal with that. But I didn't want to be the one that said, okay, why are you climbing a bank building? Why did you steal that? Why did you get in trouble here? And we had a very special relationship because of that. And she's probably as special as any woman that I've ever met, having to deal with all the things that she dealt with. And I just can't imagine. I mean, I had 2 kids, all right? You got, how many kids you got?
2.
2, all right. It's tough raising 2 kids, isn't it? Try 8 by yourself. And but now I'll say this, as I mentioned to you earlier, the community in Natchitoches was very good to try to help us out. But what she had to do in dealing with us, and there's always a problem, and it's like we were, every 2 years there was one of us, okay? And we were like a lot of families. I mean, we had kids that got in trouble and stuff, but I never wanted to put her in a situation where she had to worry about what I was doing. And so at a very early age, I started doing some things toward that degree to where she wouldn't have to worry about me. And gosh, when I was really young, I thought, you know what, I need to pay for my college education. So I went to the bank and I started depositing every penny that I earned in my banking account so I could pay for my college education. My goal was to get to $10,000. I didn't get there, but I got to $9,000, and it paid for my college education. I didn't want her to fool with all those kind of things because she had enough on her plate. Wow. But she was very special, and we had a wonderful relationship. And she taught me so much about life, about dealing with people.
What did she teach you?
To respect everybody. Respect everybody. There are no prejudices. You get what you put into it. You know, whatever you put into something, that's what you're going to derive. The harder you study, the better grades you're going to make. You work for what you get. Nobody's going to give you stuff. And so that was one of the things that she instilled in me. She instilled in me about treating people the right way. She was a school teacher for many, many years. And she had to deal with people on a daily basis, and I watched the way she dealt with people. And I really appreciated that. And I kept thinking as I got older, you know, all the things that she had to overcome as a mom, as a parent, as a person. And it just really impressed me, and I had an admiration for what she was able to do. And she passed away, as I mentioned, 7 years ago. But she was just a wonderful lady, a very vibrant personality. You'll appreciate this. She loved to dance. She was a great dancer. And
you know, I'm just thinking about something. I've seen you at our parties, and it all makes sense to me why you dance so hard now. I get it. I thought you were just dancing. You were dancing with and for Mama. This is her energy. This is her thing. But I'm also thinking about this measure of toughness that you realized that she had, that thing, and so that's a drive in your life. It's not just I want to be the best. You were trying to. You realized what she had deposited in you, and you're trying to bring that back.
You know, I remember when she passed away, I wrote an article about it, and I remember talking about, I didn't grow up having necessarily heroes. I admired Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron. I admired a lot of athletes that were out there that I like to follow, but she was my hero. And because I always put her up on a higher pedestal. I didn't know athletes personally. I knew her. I knew what athletes could do, and so I would admire what they could do, but she was on a different plane to me because of what she instilled in me and what she did for the rest of our family, because it was tough. And so I always appreciated that, and I always, you know, I remember thinking about this, in different stages of your life. I wanted to be a great athlete. Wasn't. I wanted to be very good at the workforce. I wanted to be a good dad later on. I wanted to be a good husband. But I wanted to be a good son. It was always important to me to be a good son to her for what she did for me.
That's big. Jimmy Hyams is my guest. This is Anything is Possible.
Coming up.
I can also give somebody a pat on the back too. I mean, if basically the deal is, if you perform well, I'll talk about why you're performing well. If you don't perform well, I'll talk about why you're not. And that's pretty much the rule of thumb.
This week, our Home Federal Bank Community Spotlight is on Hope Resource Center. Did you know that Hope Resource Center provides medical and educational resources to women and men in need of a safe place to address an unplanned pregnancy or sexual health concerns? To learn more and see how you can get involved, visit investinghope.com.
Jimmy Hyams is my guest this week on Anything Is Possible. Thank you for sharing that story about your mother. I mean, that's big. It helps make sense now of, I see her in you, and I see that same drive, that hard work that she kind of deposited in you. Let's talk about writing versus radio. You were well-known writer, sports editor at the News Sentinel. You love writing. That's your first love. I think I read in your bio that you like being a writer. You like doing the research. You like being a reporter. You're not as concerned about being an entertainer. And I know when, I remember all of this because I happened to be there. I remember when Bobby Denton reached out to you. It was kind of the same thing when the guy wanted to make you editor when you were 16. They approached you and you were like, are you sure? Because I'm not going to try to be your radio guy. I'm a hard-hitting journalist. I'm a writer. That's what I do. That's who I am. But now you've had quite a distinguished career as a broadcaster now. Talk to me about that transition.
I've been at the radio station longer than any other place I've worked now. It's hard to believe it. It's been since 1998.
Wow.
So we're at 16 years, and I've really enjoyed it. It's different from writing, but the thing that I imparted on what you were alluding to was, I said, look, I'm a reporter. I said, if something comes up, I've got to write about it or talk about it. I've got to do that, the good and the bad. And if I know something and I don't talk about it or say it, then I'm covering it up. I don't do that. So you have to understand what you're getting with me if you feel comfortable with that. And they said they do. Now, I can also give somebody a pat on the back too. I mean, basically the deal is, if you perform well, I'll talk about why you're performing well. If you don't perform well, I'll talk about why you're not. And that's pretty much the rule of thumb. But the transition, I never thought I would be just in radio. I thought it was always going to be as a sports writer. I enjoyed it. As you said, it was my first love. And I felt comfortable with doing that. Radio got me out of my comfort zone a little bit. But I also felt like there were some things that it would allow me to do. Look, I won't lie, they were paying me more money, okay?
Right,
so
right,
absolutely.
Yeah,
there's something there. But also I thought that you're out there, as you know, you're out there in the public more. And there's the opportunity to do more in the community if you're in that role in radio, because more people know you, and there's a person that you're listening to or talking to or calling pretty much a daily basis. So I thought, okay, this is worth a challenge. And so I took on the challenge. I wasn't sure all of what I was getting into, but I thought at that time in my life, okay, let's give this a shot. Now, I will say this, I replaced Mike Keith, and Mike was excellent. He did a great job, and I talked to him extensively about all the different things that were involved. And then the transition, working with John Wilkerson, that made it easier. Brent Hubbs was there at the time, that made it easier. So there were some people that showed me the ropes about what to do, where to go, and they had to be patient with me as I tried to evolve into learning the radio business. But after doing that, man, I've loved it. I've had a great time doing it.
You do a great job at it.
Well, I appreciate it, but it's fun. I like going to work every day. Now, I had one job in my life where I didn't last there very long.
What's that?
Well, when I was in Louisiana, I was at a newspaper and kind of got crossways with the boss, because he called me in one time and he said, okay, we're not going to write anything negative about LSU. Everything has to be positive. I said, wait a minute. I said, if LSU gets beat 38-0, am I supposed to talk about the 3 first downs they made? We didn't see eye to eye. So I moved on, and I got hired at LSU as a sports information director for basketball. But I could handle the other job. The sports information part wasn't my cup of tea, because they would come in and they would tell me, you have to control the media, you have to tell them what to say, why are you a media friend? I said, look, if they're accurate, let it go. Now, if somebody's writing something that's wrong, we'll tackle that. I didn't fit in with them.
Where does this sense of right, wrong, justice, you have that's a big deal to you.
Yeah.
To speak the truth, to lay it on the line. Where does that come from?
When I was younger, it was a whole lot more black and white about right, wrong. I see a little bit more gray as I've gotten older, but I think that probably came from my mother. I'm sure that it did. And I just remember too, when I was young, it's like, man, if you're going to a store, you've got to go to the source of the story. I don't like all this innuendo, I heard this, I heard that. You got to find out what happened.
But you like to go to the source. Tell me about your faith in your family.
Well, we'll start with my family. I'm married to Melanie, and she's been great for me. We first met on a blind date. It was in Knoxville, and we got married probably, well, it wasn't that long after we were dating, but we got married in 1990, June of 1990. And I've got 2 kids. My oldest one is Leslie, and she goes to the University of Tennessee. My youngest one is Valerie. She's 19. She goes to Austin Peay. And they're both enjoying their college life. One probably doesn't like to study as much as the other, but she's learning. She's going to get there. But and I go to Second Presbyterian Church. I grew up a Catholic.
Were you an altar boy?
Yes, I was.
Let me ask you this question. If there was a young writer watching now, what advice do you give them about the possibility of a career as a writer? What do they need to know?
Well, they need to do 3 things, basically. They need to be fair. You know what, if I cover you, I really don't care if you like me. I want you to tell me that I was fair to you, if I was fair. And that's presenting both sides of a story. Secondly, you got to be accurate. It's more important to be accurate than first. You got to be accurate instead of first. That's the thing. And the other thing is to be thorough in what you're doing. You know, if you think you know something, that's not good enough. If you think you know.
Wow. And those seem like good rules for life anyway. Jimmy Hyams, thanks for joining us on Anything Is Possible.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll see you on a ping pong table.
All right. Look forward to it.
We'll see you next week.